Are you really filming this?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Brian's got a doggo in his body.
Do we really need to take all our antibiotics? If you ever went to the doctor and they give you 2 weeks worth of pills, and don't you really hate it that after about 5 or 6 days, your symptoms done, you're cured, you're fine, and you still got all these extra wasted pills left? You know, what do we do with those?
I'm too drugged out to know when I take mine. I'm sorry.
I'm sure that is a problem some people have. How many have bottles in their cabinets full of pills that they have not finished? Glad to see I'm not the only one. Well, today we're going to find out why we should really take all of our pills, why it is necessary to continue our pills even after all of our symptoms are gone. When we are given antibiotics, it is to take care of bacterial infections. When we get a cold, we can either have a bacterial infection or a virus. Well, antibiotics does not help with viruses, they only help with bacteria. And when I think of bacteria, I think of like weeds in a garden. They're overgrowing the garden, they're choking everything out, they're just taking it all over. And we usually will go and we'll get some sort of weed killer to kill off all the weeds. Well, like this guy here, he's cleared off a space for his garden and killed off weeds, but there's still some left. There's some right here.
Looks like our backyard.
Just like our backyard. It's kind of hard to actually grow grass there, but in this case, this guy wants this all cleared off because he's going to grow a vegetable garden. But he didn't kill all of this off. So what do you think is going to happen?
Weeds are going to grow back.
It's going to grow back. Is it new growth or is it just growth from what he already has?
Technically it's new.
Technically it's new, but it's being populated by growth that is already there. Well, bacteria is the same way. If you don't kill it all off, it's still there. And it's going to repopulate. And it can grow back stronger than it was before because it can learn to be resistant to the antibiotics that you're giving it to kill it off.
That's just grass.
I'm sorry. So when we are given a prescription, we should finish it all because it could cause problems. Huh?
You canceled out.
I canceled out.
Turn around.
Ooh. Thank you. Sorry about that. But weeds are not like bacteria. Actually, this is what bacteria looks like, and I got it from the United States National Library of Medicine. You get a lot of information there about bacteria and viruses and antibiotics, which is what I'm talking about today. You can see the bacteria invading there. The bacteria that I showed you was a rod, and as you can see, there's different types of bacteria here, and this is a bacillus that's similar to what I just showed you. And you've also got some that looks like circles, little spiros. And based upon the bacteria that's invading your body, that will determine the type of antibiotics that your doctor gives you. And the antibiotics that he chooses comes from an antibiotic spectrum. Based upon the bacteria that you have, it'll be a gram-positive or a gram-negative type of antibiotic. As you can see, there's a Staphylococcus and pneumonia here. Sorry. And the type of E. coli is over here on gram-negative. So the type of antibiotic that will take care of pneumonia will not help if you have E. coli. My apologies. And as I was talking about, there's different types of antibiotics, and this is just a selection of type of antibiotics that a doctor can give you based upon the type of bacteria that's invading your body. And a lot of times when we have those extra pills that we put up in our cabinet, we're saving them for later, maybe because we're going to get sick again, and we can, instead of going to the doctor, we can grab that bottle of antibiotics and start taking it to kill off the bacteria, or our friend gets sick. So we give our friend the bottle of antibiotics so they can take care of the bacteria that's invading them. But as we've just got through talking about, the type of bacteria that's invading you may not be the same type of bacteria that's invading our friend. So they may need a different type of antibiotic. So that antibiotic that you saved for your friend might not be doing any good. And then the doctor will not know what type of antibiotic that you were given, so that they can start being able to be a little bit more selective to the type of antibiotic that they're giving us. And you remember that weed that was growing there, that he's could possibly become resistant to the type of weed killer that's being given to it? Well, that is what exactly is happening, is that the bacteria are becoming resistant towards the type of antibiotics that we are taking. And this could be kind of a serious thing, because you can see you got dates here of when these antibiotics have been found, and it's been a long time since we found any new antibiotics. They're becoming very difficult to manufacture, to take care of the bacteria that we have that are growing. And we are starting to develop resistant bacteria. One known bacteria is called MRSA, and that is a staph bacteria that grows naturally on our skin, that gets into a cut, that, you know, we used to just take an antibiotic and that would knock it out, but not with MRSA. If you get MRSA, you're going to be in a hospital and you're going to be into a contained room so that you do not infect others. They do not have anything that actually will cure it, but they will help support your body so that your own natural defenses can try to take care of it. I thought about showing you some pictures of MRSA, but decided that that would be just a little too much for us to look at. Over a couple hundred years ago, it was a big deal when we first came up with antibiotics. A cut on your finger or your arm. Nowadays, we just take and we put some antibiotic ointment on it, some Neosporin. If that doesn't work, we go to the doctor, he gives us an antibiotic. They didn't have those choices back then. They would get extremely septic from it and they would die from it. So it was a big deal. As these strains of resistant bacteria are coming along, we are going back to that time where we may not be able to have anything to fight these type of bacteria. So that's where we are today. We're starting to have a global crisis dealing with the bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics. We don't know where we're going with this. We do not know how prevalent it is. But it is becoming serious enough that it is becoming talked about nationally with the various governments of the country. To put it on more perspective, as we can see here in India, over 58,000 babies died from antibiotic resistant bacteria that they developed from their moms. We live in a more modern society here in the United States, so you'd think we wouldn't have to worry about that. But 23,000 deaths have occurred in a year in the United States. These are numbers that we're getting from the CDC. Great resource to check with them to find out more information on the subject. So we need to keep in mind, we need to stop the resistance. We need to use our antibiotics more wisely. We need to take all our antibiotics to ensure that all the bacteria is been annihilated into our body so it does not repopulate. And if it repopulates, it doesn't become a strain that becomes resistant. It doesn't do any good to save it, because what's bugging us might not be bugging our friend. So the antibiotic may not be helping them if we try to save it. And we do not want to, we need to remember that bacteria evolve. It's just like warfare. They're learning the strategies that we're using against them, and they're learning from it. And they will use the strategies to keep from dying themselves, because they want to be able to repopulate. So we need to keep in mind, we need to protect ourselves, and we need to protect our future. Let's try to be a little bit more careful with our antibiotics and prepare for our future. Thank you.